Welcome back to another episode of Offbeat Adventures. We're once again standing here on the grade of the former Canadian Northern Railway and later Canadian National Railways, Dorion, and then subsequently Kinghorn Subdivision. We're here just south of the community of Nipigon, Ontario. We're picking up right where we left off on a previous hike, right on the south side of Stillwater Creek. The Nipigon River. So Stillwater Creek feeds into the Nipigon River. The Nipigon River is just over there, and we're going to be coming alongside of it very soon. You'll notice just to our west is the mainline Canadian Pacific. I'm going to be talking more about that very shortly because we're going to be coming on alongside of it, and we are going to be working our way south right parallel to it, literally within feet of it, all the way down to the next community, which is Red Rock, Ontario. So again, we did this previous hike back in May. So again, we're picking up right where we left off, right at this bridge. One thing I didn't feature in the last video, might be a little bit harder to see now. We do have a telegraph pole here that's kind of hiding down here in the weeds. When we were here in May, it was a lot easier to see it. I wish I would have recorded it, but I didn't see it until we were getting ready to leave. So again, what we're going to do is we're going to be heading south. Just up ahead there is where where this line began to parallel the Canadian Pacific line. Again, all the way down to Red Rock. Before we get started, just up here is we saw this in the previous episode, the flanger sign here for the bridge. Not really any signage other than this one here on this section. There was one more, but I'm going to tell you about that one. So there's the flanger sign. I want to tell you a little sort of funny story before we get started. Maybe it's funny to me, maybe it's not funny to you. When we were here in May, when I was heading back from this bridge, heading back north towards Nipigon, if you watch episodes, watch these episodes on a regular basis, you know that I'm not really good with the bridges. I'm always sort of tiptoeing my way across. So as I was heading back, I see a guy coming, southward in his half-ton truck, and I kind of wondered where this guy was going, so I kind of moved over. This guy drives by, and then I'm thinking in my head, where is he going with this truck? And wouldn't you know it, he drove all the way down here, and he basically kind of zigged around the first barricade and drove his truck right over the bridge, and then came around this barricade. And so yeah, again, I'm always a little scared kind of walking across the bridges, and there's somebody driving their truck across there. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to jump up on the bike here, and we're going to start sort of plugging our way to the south. And like I said, we're going to be coming alongside the Canadian Pacific here in a second. All right, here we go. We're in the saddle here. Lots. You're going to see lots of remnants. Eh? There's tie plate and the rail anchor. Lots of those things, but not too much in the way of other things. No real, like I said, not really a lot of signage. Not really any culverts and things like that. There's one that's coming up just right here, and we're going to stop there in a second. One of the things that's big about this area is you're going to see the view and the engineering is going to be the big thing. All right, so as you can see here, we're coming alongside as I mentioned earlier, the Canadian Pacific main line. So this is Canadian Pacific's main line across Canada. This is their Nipigon Subdivision, which runs from Scriber all the way to the city of Thunder Bay. I'll throw the mileage up on there because I honestly don't remember. I'm not even gonna guess, 132 miles, something like that. I don't know, maybe more. One of the interesting things is you'll notice the speed sign on the Canadian Pacific there. So 50 miles an hour. One of the interesting things about the Kinghorn is that there was nowhere as quick as that. Maybe in the old days, back when the line was first established. I think I've seen old Canadian National Railways employee timetables where there's sections where it's 50 miles an hour. But in more recent times, this line did not have anywhere close to those speed limits that the Canadian Pacific did. Most sections of the Kinghorn were about 35 miles an hour. The odd one was maybe 40. And again, a lot of it had to do with the fact that this line was not the main line Canadian National line. So this was a secondary line. It used to be the main line, Canadian Northern, but it lost that designation fairly quickly. So again, as a secondary line, it didn't see as much attention, as much upgrades, and so the speed limit was reduced. Okay, so we're going to be coming up to our first stop here in a second. As I said, there's really not much infrastructure-wise. We just passed the one bridge, and really there's no real interesting culverts other than the one that's coming up right here. So we're going to no mileage markers either on there are a few culverts, no mileage markers to be found anywhere. So anyway, so we're at this this culvert here. Again, you can see how close we are to the Canadian Pacific line. You can see the culvert is like right on top of the Canadian Pacific one. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop down and go take a look at it. All right, so we've made our way down here. You can see right where the grade is. It's very difficult to see the culvert here, just simply because of its proximity to the Canadian Pacific culvert. Must have been really interesting trying to work in here, and certainly for the current Canadian Pacific crews. There's probably not even 3 feet in between the two culverts here. You can see that the CN culvert, again, is one of these old style concrete ones, segmented ones. You can see that there isn't a lot of, there's a fairly large culvert here. This is probably one of the bigger culverts that I've seen. It looks like it's over 5 feet diameter. We're going to jump the grade and go take a look at the other side, and we'll get a little bit better angle of it. All right, so we've made our way down here on the east side of the grade, and so here you can see this little creek where it empties into the Nipigon River, just behind us there, and then here you can see the concrete culvert. I don't know if I can get any closer. You can see it's a very, very large diameter concrete culvert. It's got to be a 6 foot diameter culvert. It is very large. This is probably one of the bigger ones that I've ever seen on this line. Again, I don't know how close I can get. You can see here just above it, they did have some issues with erosion. I was kind of wondering what this piece of metal here was for, and actually I'm guessing this is just to keep these ties in place and to keep the top part of the grade kind of slipping over the culvert. I don't know if you can see, there's actually some erosion over there on the north side. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to hop back up on the grade and just continue pushing our way southward.